I didn't record. So sorry, didn't record. So to see how company is successful, we look at the financial performance, and some key financial ratios we look at is the gross profit margin, the operating profit margin. That I usually look at it. I don't know if you guys remember when I go over your competitive the industry report. I'll go over this to see, oh, this company is doing well in certain ratio. So for the BHG game, the quiz 2 has a lot of ratios, I think. And they might not, because their financial statement is a simplified financial statement. Okay, they might not include all the items you learn from your accounting class. So what you do is you can go to the player's guide and type in search, Control F, search the particular ratio. And when you type in those things, and the player's guide will show you exactly what kind of formula they use. So when you go back to the questions, you know what items you should include to calculate certain ratios. Okay, so I think that's why the quiz 2 is much more difficult. Okay, so quiz 2 is actually, I know quiz 2 is much more difficult. So that's why I hope you guys will get 100% on quiz 1. So if you get 100% on quiz 1, you might get 60% on quiz 2, or maybe 40 the first time. So because it has a lot of ratios, the ratio itself is not difficult to calculate. It's just add, division, or plus, like this, like you see here, subtraction, addition, and then division. So something like that, but you need to select the right items to calculate that. So that's the key financial ratio. And then we have, I also talk about the days of inventories. Okay, so a lot of you guys, I think it's within 50 days. So if it's over 50 days or over 100 days, I remember one company had like more than a year, more than 365 days. So that's not good. It takes you 1 year, more than 1 year to sell your shoes. Okay, so and then we have I think we have dividend payout ratio, or something related to dividend yield on common stock, or something like that. So you need to make sure that you can pay dividend, but you don't want to pay more than you profit. Okay, so that's something that keep in mind. So the next question is, what are the company's important the crucial competitive resources, okay, and capabilities? So that's what we call the competitive assets. They are the company's resources and capabilities. So resources, there are several type of resources. Okay, we can have a land. Okay, the resource is something that the company own. Okay, and then capability is the certain skill, certain abilities the company has, or maybe the people they have that has that kind of skill. So we have several type of resources. We have the tangible resources, and we have intangible resources. So the tangible resources have like physical resources, like land, like some equipment. And it's also, depends on what kind of equipment. If it's like related to technology, then it's technological asset. And then we have financial resources, your line of credits, your cash, and then the organizational resources. Okay, it could be like the relationship, it's the tangible, maybe the building. Okay, it could be the physical resources as well. And then intangible resources is your human resource, your human asset, intellectual capital. okay, brand names, company image, or your reputation, or your relationship with your partners, clients, joint ventures, okay, and the company culture, the incentive system. So I find that interesting. I don't know if you guys know, Apple has summer camp for kids every year, free. You guys know that? When it's available to sign up, usually it will be gone within 1 hour or a few minutes. So usually I would send in the email request saying that when it's available, you need to notify me. So when the moment I got email, I will go sign up. Okay. So so when you sign up for the summer camp, they give the kids t-shirts. They have different type of style, but it looks nice. Like next time I can bring it over. So it's like they have Apple, but they have different like technology related stuff, and then they combine it to make it an Apple on the t-shirt. So and they even give you a jump drive for whatever, like one time they will be making music, and they'll give you a nice cute jump drive to save your music there, for my daughter. But when you drop off your kids to Apple store for the summer camp, you have to be there. I thought, 1 hour camp, I can just go to the mall, because the Apple store is in the Lehigh Valley Mall. So I thought, I can go to the mall, but they said, oh no, the parents have to be there. So what do? We will be playing with the Apple product. Okay, we'll be playing with the phone, with the watch, with the iPad, and then the parents, they will start to talk about the parental control, the stuff. And then you would sometimes have customers, not the employee, because employees, you need to make appointments to talk to the employees. So they will tell you, they will say, oh, when we talk about, so how do we use the parental control? How do we use this? And then people, someone, just the Apple customers, not the employee, they will tell you, say, oh, I use this and it's very helpful. And when I was looking at the Apple Watch, I was like, I would be like, do they, like, if I forget to turn on this like swim mode, the water mode, is it still water resistant? And then people, some random stranger would tell me that, yeah, I have this. This is so cool. And then they would tell you stuff. So they have something that we rarely talk about, is the where is it? The relationship with, they have a lot of loyal customers. Okay, one time before I bought my MacBook, at that time I was in PhD program, and then we need to use several statistics softwares to run a lot of research. But I want to, and at that time I already have iPhone 4 and I have iPad, so I want to have a Apple computer. So, but I don't know, I heard some of the statistics software doesn't work well with Apple. So I was wondering, like, I was like, I don't know if this works. And I was looking at the MacBook, and then a stranger just talked to me saying, so are you interested? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know if this will work with the certain statistic software. And then this guy, he went online with the MacBook there. He said, oh, this one, they actually have MacBook Mac version, and then these they don't. And then he said, oh, you could have the virtual, I don't even remember, virtual hard drive or something. I don't know if you guys heard of it. Like when you buy MacBook, you can not cloud. Yes. So that's the virtual thing, like virtual hard drive. It's not OS system. It become no, but you split your hard drive. One is OS system, one is the PC system. So yeah, so they told me that, but when you use it, I cannot have, like, the MacBook Air is too small for doing that. so I have to have a MacBook Pro. Yeah, so that's, you know, he went on, and then I thought he's the employee, and it turns out he's not. He's just a very loyal customers. So those are something that even the company like Samsung, they can try to copy whatever product, you know, they want from Apple, but this kind of loyalty you can only get from Apple customers. Okay, so sometimes the intangible resources are more difficult to build, and it will be more difficult for your competitor to copy. So those are, you know, all type of competitive advantage, you know, the capability or resources the company has. Okay, and then the organizational capability could be something that the company they can produce better than their competitor. Okay, like again, using Apple as example, that's something that we can observe easily. Like I think I mentioned it last time, whenever Apple has new product, they always have this press conference. How do they call that? They have a special term, and for those medias to be there in their press conference, I think the ticket is like $2,500. Okay, which company charge for press conference? But Apple, they charge that, and then you will see a lot of influencers. They will be there online, and they will listen to that, and then they will be doing analysis on the product. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the report or stuff like that. So, but they, whenever, you know, when Steve Jobs was alive, when he was introducing the product, he always make the product seem so nice. Like he said, oh, this is the slimmest phone on earth, you know. So when he said that, you feel like, oh, I want to own that phone. But what does the slimmest, how thick the phone is to has anything to do with the phone? The phone, actually, we just need to use the phone to call someone. Why does it have to be slim? You know? So, but he was always able, even today, what's his name? Tim Cook. Yeah. When he's there, you know, he is like the personal charm is just there. Like people listen to them, and then when they talk, you know, you feel like, wow, this is such a nice product. Okay, even I remember one year they had they launched this new Apple Watch where you don't need to use it with the phone, where they have their own GPS. So the lady, she was doing the paddling on a lake, and then she was doing exercising, and then also doing the live, you know, show, saying, hi, I'm doing this. So they have the way to, you know, make this kind of thing happen. And Samsung, or even Chinese Huawei, have you heard of the Huawei phone? Yeah, their CEO also tried to imitate that. So he actually also, one year he started a new product conference, the announcement conference, and he even tried to introduce a phone with English, but it's totally different. So if maybe one day I'll share with you the video. Okay, so so that's the capability that sometimes it's very difficult to build. And we can see that before, when Steve Jobs was the CEO, when he was introducing new product, it's always him. But then Tim Cook, you know, when he took over, he was doing that. He tried to, you know, wear similar outfit, you know, similar style. And then now, when they had the new product launch, they would actually include more top managers to talk about the product. I don't know if you guys noticed. Before it was just, you know, Steve Jobs and then Tim Cook, and then now Tim Cook would introduce, like include other staff. Okay, so they try, you can see they try to build the capacity, they try to train the future people to do the similar things. Okay, so so when we have the competitive resources, okay, sometimes we need to do the test, like I mentioned. Sometimes it's maybe there's some capability or resources you can buy, you can acquire, okay, or you can imitate. So we need to make sure, you know, when we have a competitive advantage, we need to make sure it's not just a competitive advantage, it has to be sustainable. Okay, if someone can get the similar capability or similar asset or resource easily, then you won't have the sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so we need to see whether or not this resource or asset or capability is valuable. Is it valuable? Okay, and if it's valuable, is it easy to acquire? Can we buy it? Even though it's valuable, you know, when you have money, you can buy it. But can you buy it? Is it rare? Is it difficult to buy? Okay, so if it's rare, but can you make your own? Can you imitate it? Like I mentioned, you know, another CEO, they try to, when they now introduce new product, they try to imitate the Apple's style. Okay, is it inimitable or it's imitable? But so if it's inimitable, you cannot imitate that, can you find substitute? Okay, so is it non-substitutable? So only when you have a competitive advantage or resources that's not that pass the test, that's valuable and rare and inimitable and non-substitutable, then you know you have a sustainable competitive advantage. Yeah.
So a company, let's say Apple, because we're talking about Apple, release a new product. There's a huge demand for that product, right? And do you believe that's like a good strategy, even if it's not Apple, like some other company? Let's say I create my own like small company business, and there's like a huge demand. But if I like release something new as a service, not a product, like it's a new service, but just to like boost up the demand, I don't make it available to that many people, so I'll make it more desirable. Is that like a working tactic?
It depends. Like Clubhouse. Do you remember Clubhouse when they first? It's like the app. How many of you have Clubhouse? No. So so it's for my age. So Clubhouse is like a app. It's sort of like social media app, but you only talk. You can talk online, and it's like a club. Like you can create your own club with different subject you want to talk about. And in the beginning, it's only for iPhone user, and it's by invitation only. Okay, so in the beginning, like people keep asking for who has invitation, and once you got invited, you can go in and then you can invite 2 people. So I got invited quite early, and then I invited 2 people, and then you know I I just, so people were crazy about getting into Clubhouse. Okay, so that's that. But the good thing about Clubhouse is you get to be in the same club. Like if you follow a celebrity, you get to like listen to the celebrity talk, and they can talk live. And then sometimes like there's function, you can raise your hand and they can invite you to be the speaker. So you can kind of talk to the celebrities, or you can start your own Clubhouse with friends, and you know, so that was kind of hard for a while. But like I mentioned, so when I had too many invitations, I didn't use, because at that time you can only the iPhone user can have that. But it depends because, so at that time it worked. But when I try to invite my daughter, I said, this is by invitation only. And then she mentioned there's another app also by invitation only for young people. So she said Clubhouse is for old people. So it depends. But I think today, a lot of people still use Clubhouse to talk about, discuss some subject.
Celebrities and like bloggers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they would, and now the Clubhouse has the recording function, so they can actually record and then they can broadcast. They can you put it on podcast. So that's that. But I'm not sure. Like when if it starts from a small company, usually it becomes successful. When it becomes successful, the big company will buy them out, right? Because like Apple has so much cash. Yes, yeah. So that's I think that's the hope for those app developer. So, and I just realized I didn't wear mask today. I just realized I was walking in a building without a mask when I was talking to you guys. Gee, thank goodness there's no owl, no video. Yeah. Yeah, so we would need to do the VRIN test. So this theory is brought up by Dr. Jay Barney. He is a professor at Stanford. So remember last week we talked about Michael Porter's 5 forces analysis. He's a Harvard Business School professor. So when we talk about consulting firm, they use these 2 models. So either you use the Harvard Business model, the 5 forces analysis, or you use the Stanford VRIN test. So this is the resource-based view. So companies must have some kind of resources in order to have sustainable competitive advantage. Okay, so it has to pass the VRIN test. And then there are 2 particular resources they believed they'll be more difficult to imitate, to get substitute. So, and they believe that they make it a little bit more difficult, and so it would, like, usually these kind of resources will pass the VRIN test. So that's the social complexity, the company culture, like we mentioned on Zappos, okay? And then interpersonal relationships among the manager and R&D team, the trust-based relationship with the customers or suppliers, okay? And then the causal ambiguity, sometimes something that you don't know what is the real cause, what is the effect, and we only see the result. And we thought maybe that's the reason, why this company is doing better. But sometimes it's like, it's the active, impact. Okay. So that's the thing for the special resources. And then the dynamic capability is the capability that the company, they can modify their existing resources capability, create a new one, okay, by improving the current one, or by building the new one. So so that's about the resources of the company. So the next question is, can the company seize the market opportunities and try to neutralize the external threats? So we use SWOT analysis, like we use SWOT analysis so many times, but in addition to use SWOT analysis, we combine that with the 5 forces analysis, okay? And then try to see if we can neutralize the external threat. So the company's internal strength and then the internal weaknesses, okay? And then we look at the external opportunities. So they could be converted to our strategic objectives, okay? And then the external threats. So how can we defend it strategically with our strength, okay? So that's the questions that we can look into. And, you know, we can try to use our strength, try to, you know, help us to gain the competitive advantage. So this is the competence is just the capability. It's also, you know, like the resources we talk about. And then the core competence is something that the company is really good at, the main thing they are good at. And a distinctive competence is something that's more valuable and the company can do better than their competitors. So it's just some terms. And then we have different weaknesses, okay? Like when we look at BSG game, sometimes some companies' productivity is higher, and then some companies' defect rate is higher. So that's an inferior skill. And sometimes some company never get the celebrities. So in terms of the celebrity appraisal, you know, your numbers are very low or even close to zero, okay? And then when some company are in financial trouble, their credit rating will go down and it will be more expensive for them to get a loan, okay? So there might be, you know, some of the inferior capabilities for the companies. So the opportunities is, you know, we also look at, you know, is this a must pursue market, okay? And or is it just a marginal interesting market, or is a unsuitable market? Okay, so, you know, we look at that, and then we look at different threats, whether or not it's just a normal threat or it's a sudden death threat. So how are we going to defend ourselves, or how are we going to get out of the threat? So, so those are the things that we also need to think about when we evaluate the internal environment. And then we kind of talk about this. So, so the next thing we do is we ask the next question, you know, what is the cost structure and how can we create value for our clients? Remember in the very first class or the beginning, we say we need to create value, perceived value for the customers, or, you know, sometimes we need to increase the value. When we increase the value, we might need to increase the cost. Or sometimes we could try to lower the cost without lower the value. So no matter what, you know, we still make profit. So for to lower the cost, it will help us to have better profit, right? But sometimes we still need to create certain value. For example, in your BSG game, some companies, when they make higher SQ rating product, the cost of their product still relatively low compared to other companies. So that's the part that you need to figure out. So what can I do in order to try to make this product at lower cost? Okay, sometimes like the easier way in the game is to maybe use less superior material, but it's just temporary, because when you use less superior material, that means your quality will be lower. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean you are creating value for your customers. So you need to try to lower the cost while the value of the product is not lower. Okay, so the higher your company's costs are, the more vulnerable you are. Okay, like when we talk about the private label, when your cost is higher, you cannot lower your bidding price too much. You know, so sometimes when you have bigger competitors that put in a lot of order in the private label, then you might not get the bid. Okay. Oops, what did I do? I hope I didn't mute it before. Yeah. So that's the important of the cost. And then we use this thing called value chain. So value chain is similar concept to supply chain, it's just different terms. So supply chain is when we buy some material from our suppliers, and then our suppliers have their own suppliers to supply their material to make the product we want. So it becomes like a chain reaction. So it's become a supply chain. And value chain, not just including the supplier side, also when you go down to the logistic company or to the customers, you provide the product for your customers, and they will pay you with money, with cash, or with credit cards or whatever. But there's some kind of flow, some chain reaction. So that's what we call the value chain. Okay. So sometimes we can also look at the value chain activities. We can break it down. So we have primary activities like supply chain management. Operations means the productions, distribution, sales, marketing, service, and then we have the profit margin. And then we have the backstage, the support activities and cost. That's, they don't face the clients directly. Okay, so it's like product R&D development, technology, system development. So they don't really need to deal with the customers directly. And then the HR, definitely, not. And then general administration. So those are the backstage, the supporting activities. And when we have value chain analysis, we will break down the cost into different value chain activities. Okay, so I think there's an example here. So this example is for this polo shirt. So we actually break down to very small like details. So we have the fabric from France, $6.80. And then the fabric from the placket and vent, 99 cents. 4 buttons, including 1 extra. From the picture, you see 3 buttons. So they have 1 extra. So the 4 button is 12 cents. And then the thread, 9 cents. And then label, $1.10. And then the hand tag, 40 cents. Waist fabric, 85 cents. Labor, $11. Packing material, only 17 cents. And then shipping material to factory, $5. The hand embroidered linen bag, the one you see on the left hand side of the picture, $3. So total cost is $29.57. And then when they sell to the wholesale, they sell it with the profit of $35. So the wholesale price is $65. So that's the price they sell to their retailer. Okay, so the retailer, their markup is $90. So eventually, when we buy it, it's $155. Okay, so from this breakdown of the cost, which one can you think of that if you cut the cost, it wouldn't lower the value of the polo shirt? The what? Labor you can cut? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
And if they have the same quality, if you like manage to observe the quality,
Mm-hmm.
they manage to produce the same quality, but it's cheaper labor, then you're gonna down the cost.
Okay. Very good. What else?
Now, what else? The packaging, the initial packaging, cut down a little bit the cost of producing the, let's say, the bag.
Okay.
You make it cheaper, and the customer is not gonna wear the bag, so it's not gonna matter. It's gonna pack it. If it's still representable and it's good looking, design, but it's cheaper made.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because the short t-shirt, the polo shirt is $155. I would expect something, you know, um, special. This I don't like the design, but maybe it's a picture because it says hand embroidered. So maybe that's some people.
I have photos, but I haven't seen that bag, you know.
Yeah. So it's different brand. So it's like um when you purchase Tiffany, you like the blue box, the ribbons, all those stuff, and people will keep those things. People don't throw it away. So that's for sort of like the symbol. Did
Another thing that you can work on is if you're shipping a lot of things, like a lot of things, you can probably talk to the shipping companies, cut down a little bit of shipping costs.
okay, very good. Yeah. Or if we want to maybe increase the price, where we can improve to increase the value, so that's also another thing we can think about without increasing too much cost. So that's just one example to show you guys how we can work on this kind of stuff. Yeah. Oops. So this is the questions that we asked, but I'm not, since we already kind of discussed it. So another thing, benchmarking, I'm sure by now, after every Thursday when we go over the PSG examples, the result, we see a lot of benchmark report, right? So benchmark is basically, it's not 100% copying, but sometimes we might want to learn from the best practices. Like when we say, oh, this company's Six Sigma, they put in this much on the Six Sigma training, and this company pay their employee this much. And if you see their quality is higher, their cost of SQ rating is higher, lower, their defect rate is lower, maybe you also need to put in similar investment in a Six Sigma or something, something like that. Okay. So that's, benchmark. Try to see what the best practice do. And then whether or not we can also do the same thing. Okay. So, so for BSG again, we have a lot of report. That's where we can see the benchmark. We might not necessarily know which company is the best performing company, but you have the data, you have the worst case, the average, the best case in the industry. So you can kind of take a look. Okay. And so if you have if you are not doing so well in the wait in the industry, okay, then you need to think about how you can improve with limited resources, of course. Like especially in the BSG game, sometimes when you make mistake, it's difficult to revise, but you need to work from whatever you have and go from there. You don't need to be number one, but you want to make sure you are improving every year. So let's say sometimes what we can do is we can maybe outsource activities, but it's not the option in the BSG game. But we can invest in the productivity enhancing, cost saving technological improvement. So in your BSG game, I think you also have the improvement option for the factories. Okay, so you need to be wise when you make those kind of decisions, because they have a lot of numbers that tells you, how much it will need you to invest, and then how much money you will get back from choosing this option. So, oh sorry, there's something in my eyes. So that's also something that you guys can look into. And then let's see, adopt best practice for marketing, brand management, and enhancing customer perceptions. So for the BSG game, increase your advertising cost, get celebrities, so stuff like that will help you to improve on those kind of stuff. So these are all some of the examples you can go over and then think about what you can do in order to be more competitive. Okay, so when you are focusing on differentiation, how do you do that? So we can, like we mentioned, in advertising and promotions, and then exclusive arrangement with sellers. So that's not the option for BSG game, but for reality, in reality, if you are working one day, there's something you can do. So, and so for the how do we transform the value chain activity to competitive advantage? Like we can, like what we say, we can say, okay, so if we want to lower the cost, then like Benny said, we can maybe move the factory to somewhere where the labor is cheaper, but we need to make sure the labor is are the similar skillful. Okay, we don't want to sacrifice the quality with the cost. Okay, so then we can see, okay, so we will have the cost advantage, but then our quality is still there, so maybe we can still improve our quality if quality is something we value. But if we want to provide something just for cost space, then we need to make sure whatever we decide is cost efficient. Like for the polo shirt example, if that's the case, we don't need to have the fancy bag. Okay, if we want to sell cheaper, the cost efficient or low cost polo shirt, then we can just have a plastic bag. We don't need to have the fancy bag. But if we want to go with the good quality, higher the luxury item with this much markup, then maybe $3 hand embroidered bag is not a bad investment. Okay, so for this, we want to make sure we can be more efficient, and we can try to save money in different aspects. So I forgot to bring my water. So the competitive strengths, we can list our key success factors, like remember we talk about different characteristics that we value, and then look at our competitors and then give them different weight. Okay, so this is like the result. So like we are comparing our company ABC with rival 1 and rival 2, and then we listed several key success factors, like the quality. Okay, we think it's 10% important, and the reputation image 10%, the manufacturing capability 10%, the technological skill 5%, the network distribution 5%, new product innovation 5%, the financial resources 10%, the cost position 30%, and then the customer service delivery 15%. Okay, so the last two are the most important things, so we made it up as 100%. And then our score for ourselves we are very high in technological skill, 10%. And then the distribution, new product innovation, very high. But we are kind of medium in the we think most important things like the cost position, the customer service, financial resources, even the manufacturing capability. So this is kind of related to your question. You can kind of see this is a relatively smaller company, right? When you compare to Rebel One. So Rebel One has strong financial resources, very good cost position. So I can see it's like a huge company, but their technological is not good, but their manufacturing capability is very strong. Okay, so whatever we are good at, they are bad. Okay, so you see here, except for the image is okay, it's a little bit worse than ours. And then this one is okay with the manufacturing, okay with the new product capability, but also bad with service, bad with the cost. So this one, if you add up their score is 2.1, close to 6, and this company is 7. So when you see this, what do you think the company should do? Should we try to make this number close to 10, or should we improve the numbers that matter the most here? Or we, because the biggest competitor, they are very strong here, do we just give up, focus more on something we are better? What will you guys do? Okay, but we don't have money to improve that. So what should we do? What do you guys think the company should do? Just for this, looking at this. Looking at this. You can use the PhD game as an example if you want, but just looking at this, if this is your company, this is your rivals, what should you focus first? There's no right or wrong answer, okay? Because we don't know what would happen, but I just want to see how you guys think. Maybe throw out some discussion.
Well, product innovation is always very products. They're innovative and likable to the customers, so because the products bring the income, the revenue in the house. So I would be introducing new products is also.
Yeah, so see, the biggest company, they are not good with that, even worse than this company. Yeah.
Without the innovate, like every year they introduce products, so that's how they make money.
But even if you introduce new product, you don't have capacity to make enough.
We have to extend a little more.
Uh-huh.
So better factories, innovative factories.
How should you do first? Aren't you worried? Like, do you? Okay, let's look at the other side. So if you are this company, what would you do? Wouldn't I want to acquire this?
Schools like probably some type of training.
Yeah, I mean, I would try to steal people from the company, right? See,
Yeah.
right? So what can you do? Like, you also need to defend.
So you have to probably make higher wage maybe. Or higher wages.
Yeah, and
Better
then
benefits.
Oh yeah, something.
Incentives.
Mhm. So you know, so that's something we also need to think about when we try to attack. They are, you know, they know they are bad at this, so maybe, and then they have money, they have the capability. So that's something, you know, you need to also think about. But I will try to keep this in the beginning because it's already there. I would probably try to, since we have very good product technology and good quality, and I might also improve the quality even better. So even though the cost position is important here, but I will try to build the brand name even higher to make it like more luxury item, you know. And then when I have enough financial resources, I will improve this, and then maybe I'll have another brand that target the lower yes, yes, like, you know, like some cars that have luxury items, yeah, something like that. Okay, so but it's different because Toyota started with Toyota first and then Lexus. So this one we started with Lexus first and then we say Mercedes and then, you know, BMW and then Mini Cooper. Maybe something like
Yeah,
that.
but were they, the state Mini Cooper was English, it was British. That we never part
Mhm.
as Rolls Royce with their own company.
Oh, we have Rolls Royce. I thought. So who bought? Which company Tata bought? Of Jaguar. Tata. Tata is an Indian.
Oh, yeah, they bought, oh, yeah,
Yeah, they bought Jaguar.
yeah.
I used to dream to own a Jaguar because when I went to MBA, we actually invited the CEO of Jaguar to talk about the car, and they say they designed the car to make it elegant. So he said there's a lady, and when she went to gym, you know, after gym, like her hair is messy, she didn't have makeup on, she just ran into her Jaguar, and then she feels she looked like again. So ever since he talked of like that CEO talk about it with British accent, I was like, oh, I want to own a Jaguar. I want to, you know, look in the car. They say Jaguar would design the car first, and then the engineer figure out where they are going to put the engines and stuff. So they will make sure the car look good first. Yeah. But then Tata bought, I was like, you know, I don't want a Tata. So yeah, so this actually help us to look at, you know, the advantage, disadvantage, and how are you going to tackle, you know, this. So you could do this, or you can start from here, try to improve it, and, you know, compete with this. While, you know, you don't have to wait. You can start the cheaper brand to compete with them, and then still have your high end technology. And but you need to make sure they don't steal your people or resources. So so we, you know, this is and then also we need to understand we are the one that make the important weight. We don't have to be, sometimes we don't have to be part of the cost position. Okay, we can look at the market, you know, we don't have to be part of it. We can change how we weigh different categories. Okay, so it just depends on, you know, what we want. Any questions? Let me see, do we have, oh, we have 15 minutes. So if you have, yes, if anybody want to reset their quiz? No? Okay. I'm going to, if you do, just email me with the information I need. You know, you are in this class, Tuesday, Thursday class, and then which quiz you want to reset. I think some people already did the quiz 2. So oh, quiz 2, when is quiz 2 due? Oh, okay. So yeah, so remember what I said, you can take the quiz 2 first, or you can even go look at the sample questions. You will see what kind of ratio they're asking, and then, look it up. And then, you have better chance to do better. And remember, I hope you get 100%. Yep.
The top
Top hat
has, so you do roughly-
in the end of semester, May 6th, something like that. Yeah. So just give me a few days to grade. So try to do it earlier than like before the commencement. You guys usually like, you guys are graduating, right? Okay. So yeah, so try to finish it earlier so I can submit your grade before commencement. So you will feel little bit relief. Otherwise, you don't know if you can really graduate. Okay. So you can still walk. You just need to retake the class in summer. Yep. Sorry. Go to